This video right here is for the stubborn dudes. It's for the stubborn dudes, and I know there's a lot of them out here, including myself. Including myself. Listen, fellas, if you have a close knit group of homeboys that you find reliable, that you've invested time and developed a sense of trust. Listen, if they have good advice, like genuinely good, pure advice to give to you, and for whatever reason, you get emotional about it, you feel like they are hating, dog, you gotta really sit down and evaluate the circumstances. You gotta evaluate the situation. Your homeboy is trying to aid you. He doesn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have to do that. A lot of us dudes, we have homeboys that give us good advice, but then we sit back there thinking like, oh, they're hating. They're not hating. They're granting you constructive criticism. But a lot of you dudes sit there and just only view the criticism. But you forget the constructive part. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need to get out of your feelings. Like y'all really need to get out of y'all feelings, man. There's a lot of dudes out there that really look in their best interest for their homeboys. You know what I'm saying? So they tell them a lot of things that, hey, maybe you should make this sort of adjustment. Maybe you should mitigate this. Maybe you should adjust this. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that, outside looking in, some people that are in the current situation, they might not be able to realize it because they're currently in it. But from the opposing side, from someone that's outside looking in, they have a broader scope, right? So they can see everything. They can further evaluate and be able to disperse that message to you. But there's a lot of us that don't want to hear it. We get emotional. Then we start thinking that our homeboy is hating, when in all actuality, the dude is simply trying to help you. Now, obviously, just based off my tone and how I'm just the movement, I could relate to this a lot. There's been a lot of times where I've shared my advice to a friend. They decide not to heed to the advice, right? They decide to do their own thing. And then when things don't really pan out the way that they anticipated it to be, they come and relay the message, and it's just like, but I told you. And I don't like to be that guy to tell someone I told you so, but I have to remind you, hey, that I did tell you. As your homeboy, I did tell you. So whatever plan that you concocted, right, that you thought that was gonna be successful, and I told you like, hey, I don't think that's a bright idea, and you decide to still go and do what you wanted to do, and then you realize that like, dang, that actually wasn't a bright idea, and then you come and tell me what happened. I'm gonna tell you, as your homeboy, I'm gonna tell you, I told you that wasn't a bright idea. And you're gonna have to eat that. There's been plenty of times where I felt like a homeboy was trying to tell me something, and I personally didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to hear it. At that point, I was just like, dude, like, let me figure it out for myself. And sure, did I figure it out for myself. And guess who was right there to tell me, I told you so? My homeboy. I was upset, but at the same time too, I respected him enough to sit there and tell me and keep it absolutely 1,000. Hey, whatever you're about to do, I know this is a complicated situation, and I know that you're currently in it, but here's what I would suggest. That's what you do. That's how you talk to your homies. Some of you dudes that are trying to give advice to your homeboys, it's almost like you're demanding them to make a choice. No, make it a suggestion. Still give them the opportunity to make a choice. Every man has a choice. You know what I'm saying? Make it a suggestion. And it's all about tone and delivery. So if you're telling your homeboy like, hey, I'm saying this from a deep depth of my heart, and that's just solely because I care about you and I want the best for you. I want the best for you. So this is why I'm telling you this. I think it'd be in your best interest, or I would suggest you do this. Or phrase it like if it were me, right? Because we never understand what other people are in unless we're in their shoes, right? So if I were you, right, I would do this. And explain thoroughly on why you would do this. There are people that give out advice and they don't explain why they're giving it. They don't explain why they're giving it. They're just telling someone what to do, making a demand. That's not how that works. That's not advice. That's not advice. That's a demand. There's a difference. Does that make sense? So it's like, if you're gonna do that, right? Make a suggestion and then explain why. So then that person can understand where you're coming from, and then further on down the line, they can make the choice for themselves. There's been plenty of times where I thought the decision I was making was the best chess move on the board. And there's been plenty of times where I realized that it wasn't the best chess move on the board. And my friend would be in my ear telling me like, hey, I think you should have done this. So not only it's a learning lesson, right? But you understand that, hey, this trusted homeboy is in your corner. He's in your corner. He's encouraging you and he's supporting you. So a lot of you dudes that are out here getting emotional, bro, you got to understand that like there are genuine dudes out there that want the best for you. They genuinely do. There are genuine homeboys that want the best for you. And I got a lot of homeboys that are like that. You know what I'm saying? Don't get emotional. Y'all need to step out of that bag, bruh. Really assess the situation at hand and understand where your homeboy is coming from. Then moving on forward, you can make the decisive decision. It's your boy.